Joining us for a conversation is Ari Sussman of Collective Mining, Colombia's newest exploration company. Mr. Sussman, thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me again, Maurice. Looking forward to our conversation.
Well, it's a great time to have you on the program as Collective Mining has just announced another significant development coming from the Flagship Guayabales Project. Today's discussion will focus on the Main Breccia at the Apollo target, which is delivering high grade along with some remarkable continuity. Before we begin, Mr. Sussman, please introduce us to Collective Mining and the exciting opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Absolutely. So just a very quick refresher, given we've done this before. Collective is a relatively new company, only having listed on the TSX Venture and the OTCQX in May of 2021, so just over a year old. Through very aggressive exploration on the surface, as well as being significantly funded, we have developed a series of 7 targets at our Guayabales project. Okay, Guayabales is contiguous to Marmato, which is a flagship mine of Aris Gold, which is a producer listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX. And we recognize the potential that we are sitting in a cluster of porphyry and porphyry-related targets. What I mean by that is actual porphyry targets, brecciated porphyry targets, as well as late-stage porphyry-related vein systems. We have drilled 5 of these targets. The one we will be talking about today is Apollo, as you mentioned, and the success rate, of the drilling is second to none in our industry. From 5 targets drilled, we have made what we believe to be a very significant discovery at Apollo, another significant discovery at a second target named Olympus, a modest discovery at a target named Donut, a new discovery just from 2 weeks ago at a target named Trap, and we had one target that missed, so it has been removed from the equation. So that kind of success rate is huge. As your viewers know, Maurice, you have about a 1 in 1,000 chance of making a discovery that ever becomes a mine. So obviously, drilling new targets and discovering anything is higher than 1 in 1,000 because we haven't determined if we have a mine yet. There's a long way to go in that. But however, 4 out of 5 is a remarkable success rate and something that we don't see very often in the mining industry.
We'll talk about demonstrating your proof of concept. There you have it, folks.
Exactly right. Very good.
Well, let's get into the details of the latest news, which is momentous, to put it mildly. Mr. Sussman, take us onto the Guayabales Project and onto the Apollo target, where Collective Mining has just announced visual interpretations of 2 recently drilled holes and the implications for the potential size of this impressive and rapidly growing target.
Okay, so look, we've been drilling primarily from 3 drill pads at Apollo. I want your viewers to understand that we're dealing in rolling hills within a mountain, so we're limited on easy access locations for pads. I don't say that meaning we have trouble getting to the project. You drive right up to Apollo, okay, by road. However, the roads are typically at the higher points of elevation or along the ridge line of what is a bowl, that we're sitting in. So we put pads where we could when we made this discovery, which was only announced in June. So it's new. And we've drilled from 3 pads in different directions, okay? And we outlined a structure that up until the release that came out today, looked like a northeast to southwest structure. But now we know that that's really a function of where we had the pads versus the actual shape. So what has happened is this: prior to today's announcement, the dimensions, okay, so the I don't want to say strike length versus width because we're actually not sure which one is strike and width. So let's call it length times width times vertical or height, okay, was 385 meters in length by 190 meters in width by 500 meters vertical. So what I'm referring to, this is the up until today was the maximum point, the maximum dimensions that we had outlined based on drilling, and the system remained open in all directions. 2 holes we're announcing visuals for today. One is named APC 17 or hole 17, and the second is hole 22. Both of these holes were drilled from the same pad, which is at the current interpreted southern part of the system, okay, where it actually comes to surface and outcrops. And the hole 17 was drilled due north, and it went 912 meters approximately in length before the drill didn't have any more juice to continue. Okay, and it went due north. So we expanded the system materially, both in what we interpret to be the width as well as the depth. Before I come to the new dimensions, I want to talk about hole 22. It's drilled from the same pad, but instead of due north, it was drilled to the northeast. Again, drilled until the juice ran out of the rig and it couldn't go any further. Also bottomed in the mineralized zone. And now the result is, I mentioned the dimensions previously before today of 385 by 190 by 500 meters vertical. We've now gone to 385, so we stayed the same in length, by 350 meters vertical. So we went, 350 meters in width. So we went from 190 to 350, and the vertical went from 500 meters to 825 meters. If you do a volumetric calculation, meaning length times width times height, right, we have tripled the volume of rock hosting the Main Breccia discovery at Apollo. So this is very significant, and I will iterate again to your viewers, both of these holes ended in the mineralization in the Main Breccia. So we did not find the northern or northeastern edge. It's open to go further. So we've now got, to reiterate, a system that measures now, based on visuals today, 385 meters by 350 meters by 825 meters. So we're getting very large dimensions, and it's open for expansion. Truly exciting stuff.
Oh, it certainly is. You have me smiling from ear to ear. I might say that throughout the rest of this interview. Now, looking back at last week, you announced your highest grade interval to date, while the intercepts, as you've indicated, continue to be reported at significant length. Let's talk about hole APC-12, which was one of the most impressive to date. Mr. Sussman, please provide us with your analysis in this and how this ties into your knowledge you gain about the deposit itself.
So it's becoming, look, so first of all, APC-12, we drilled 237.7 meters at 2.88 grams per ton gold equivalent. The Apollo discovery is a copper, silver, gold discovery. And those three metals are what make up the bulk of that equivalent calculation. That is our highest grade intercept to date, both in terms of the grade itself, but also in terms of the drill hole times the grade, right? So, which is very large. I mean, so these are bulk intercepts. As we know in this industry, we don't see grades like this very often at those kind of lengths, okay? And this is not a one-off, as you know, Maurice. I mean, we've drilled multiple holes at over between 180 meters thick and 326 meters thick in the Main Breccia discovery at Apollo. So it's a bulk tonnage system with attractive grades. We also drilled hole 14, which had two intercepts, in the Main Breccia. The first one right near surface. Okay, so we're directly below the outcrops. We drilled 47.5 meters at 1.36 grams per ton gold equivalent. And then that was followed by about 194 meters at 2 grams per ton gold equivalent. There was a small post-mineral dike separating those two intercepts within the same drill hole. So this system is amazing. And what makes it amazing, as we talked about last time, is there are two main pulses of fluids dumping metal into the system. One is the porphyry itself, which in the brecciated portion is even higher grade because there's more porosity. And then all of this is being overprinted by a late stage vein system, porphyry related vein system. So this is why we're seeing so much grade in the system. Frankly, if we only had the brecciated porphyry itself without the veins, I would guess we're looking at a system more in the 1 to 1.25 gram per ton equivalent range. But because of the overprinting veining, it really spruces the grade much higher. I want your viewers to understand when we see veins, when we talk about veins, these were veins. What happens to the veins when they hit the matrix of the breccia is they lose their shape as veins, and the fluid dumps out into the breccia. So it's a real overprint over those entire lengths. Truly remarkable, and a lot more to find. I can tell you, in both of those long holes that we drilled, 17 and 22, our two longest holes to date, and most mineralization to date, we see veins, that have blown out into the matrix almost throughout the entire intervals. And I should have added before, and let me say this now for your viewers. Hole 17, in cut at one point around 545 meters of continuous mineralization. Obviously, we need assays to confirm the grade. And hole 22 cut more than 400 meters of mineralization continuously, plus other intercepts within that. So, this is a very large drill holes, big, long intercepts, plus some other zones that may add to the overall metal content in those holes. And we look forward to receiving those assays in the near term.
Now, Collective Mining is currently embarking on a 20,000 meter drill program that should conclude on time and, as I understand, on budget for 2022. Take us to the core shack and give us a sense of the excitement that your technical team is enjoying right now and what's next on the horizon for shareholders.
Okay, so look, we're at the drilling stage. I mean, it's that simple. So you're going to see more and more assay results. We're currently, as we speak, we're drilling holes 23, 24, and 25. Okay, so we're moving relatively quickly, and we have 3 rigs turning. Looking forward to next year, I think we're going to be in a position where we will grow the drill program, meaning more rigs. I don't know the number yet, but 3 could go to 6 or something like that. And we will embark on significant expansion as well as start to do some infilling, so that ultimately we can get to a 43-101 compliant resource estimate for this remarkable system. But it's big. There's no question it's big. We're onto a very significant discovery, as mentioned, and we'll release details of the 2023 plan once they're formulated closer to the end of the year.
Does today's announcement impact your drilling program in any capacity, or will you stick with the original drill plan?
Oh, immensely. I mean, it impacts it immensely because we've opened the system up materially to the north and to the northeast, and we don't know the limits. So now we need to get our heads around, what's the best angle to attack it? Where do we put new pads, up in those areas? We will be cautious though, and obviously wait for the assay results from those 2 holes before we make a big move. But without question, they're well mineralized, and we expect to see positive outcomes from those assays.
Sir, in terms of news flow, when can shareholders expect the next update on the Guayabales?
We're a 2 to 3 week timeline between news at most. So we're moving quickly. We'll see the next holes exactly in that timeline, and probably within 2 weeks, maybe 3 at most.
Looking forward to it. Switching gears, let's get into some numbers. Mr. Sussman, please provide the capital structure for Collective Mining.
So we have 47.8 million shares outstanding, of which insiders own approximately 40% of the outstanding shares. So it's very well held, meaning our money is where our mouth is, and we believe in this project, and we intend to be successful based on our share ownership, not by exorbitant salaries. We're fully funded for the program this year. Obviously, we will need to do a top-up financing to fund 2023, but that will come in due course.
In closing, sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, look, I mean, it's the usual things that you worry about. I mean, we have all our permits, so that's obviously a positive. There's been a lot of question about the new government in Colombia to us. We personally don't have any concern. We've had very high-level meetings in the government, and feel very confident in their want to advance, green energy transition mining. So obviously, I mentioned we have a copper, silver, gold deposit. Copper and silver are both transition metals as part of Colombia's plan to transition to greener energy. So we believe we're going to have overwhelming support. Also, let's iterate again. We're sitting contiguous to a mine in Marmato that has been in continuous production for more than 500 years. Okay, so if you're going to pick an area in Colombia where you want to be, we are at it. There is no better place to be for mining support than where we situated.
Yeah, that's certainly a good track record there. 500 years.
Yeah.
Last question, sir. All right. What did I forget to ask?
I think you covered everything. It's just, let's just shareholders, please, and those interested, please follow us. And I'm confident we'll continue to surprise to the upside. My experience, very few projects produce good results, but ones that do tend to have the surprises tend to be positive. And I believe we're in one of those situations right now. We're truly excited by what we have.
Well, Mr. Sussman, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and Collective Mining the absolute best, sir.
Thank you, Maurice. I look forward to speaking again soon.
All the best, sir.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.